this administration is giving us no ends of things to talk about. So we're just we'll be here next week. And please check us out on Convo.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, and please subscribe. And thank you for listening in tonight. And we will see you another time on the Third Side Convo.
Okay, resetting, bringing in the Zoom people.
Hey, Jeff, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, I got a dip, guys.
Go, Jeff.
That was fun. Thanks so much.
Ted will hold up. No,
I'm sure Ted will be more
good.
able to handle.
That was really good.
Ted, Joe, Bob, thanks again, man. I'll talk to you all soon.
Yep, I got it. Well, I was thinking if not me, it could be Charles Grodin in the movie Dave. You know, Charles Grodin goes in there and starts reviewing the budget. I thought that always got me excited.
Okay, Zoom call. Can you all hear us?
Yep.
Okay, we can hear you, Michael. How many people we got in Zoom call? We only got 2 in the Zoom call right now.
Left, yeah.
So I'm going to start off with Michael. Michael, we would love to hear your thoughts.
Well, I'm just kind of over the moon, quite frankly, with the speed and the rapidity that it's moving. I'm excited about it. I am so sick and tired of, I didn't think in my lifetime that we would see movement like this. And I've had that much concern for the country. I know that there's folks that we're going to break some eggs along the way. There's no question about it. But it's certainly fun to watch.
Can't argue with that one.
Okay, and we have Bill. Bill, what are your thoughts? Is it Bill or William?
It's Bill. Sorry.
Okay. Bill, what are your thoughts?
So I'm having a hard time figuring out where to start. Bob, when you and I met and you introduced me to the concept of Third Side Convo, one of the things I thought was interesting about your concept was you weren't mentioning names. And you weren't mentioning names specifically because you didn't want to get into the kind of discussion you had tonight. Because what I heard a lot of tonight, particularly from the man who just left and who isn't here to hear this feedback, is a lot of ad hominem attacks on an individual.
On Elon.
Which did not advance the discussion at all. And I heard a lot of people talking over each other because you decided to make this about a man, a specific person. And so fortunately I was loading 308 magazines during the time that y'all were talking. So I had something else to do. I'm going on a helicopter hog hunt on Saturday. So I had to load those magazines at some point. But I heard exactly what I expected to hear when I saw your note that it was all going to be about Elon Musk, because Elon Musk has, people have opinions about him, all that kind of stuff. And that's exactly what this kind of devolved into tonight, in all honesty. Mm-hmm. Now, in some instances, I also heard a lot of misinformation, disinformation, information that was just plain wrong. I mean, talking points, which was very disappointing for this group. I don't like it when conversations are based on talking points. I prefer facts and analysis. So, on the substantive issue, the issue that you called Third Side Convo tonight, my feeling is, and this is one of those fact versus non-fact things, I suppose, that they just went after, the initial brush was at low-hanging fruit. I mean, I think USAID was low-hanging fruit. I don't think Congress had tried to get them to be accountable. They had brushed off every effort by Congress to be accountable. And they went in and they looked at it really hard. They knew it was low-hanging fruit. I'm sure this was a plan from the beginning. And now it's been moved under the State Department, where it can, as it should, be an instrument of U.S. foreign policy and should be spending money in accordance with U.S. foreign policy priorities. And I don't have a problem with that. As far as all the objection to the defense budget, as I recall, 2 days ago, they announced that the next 2 departments they were going after were education and defense.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because again, that's where low-hanging fruit is. Now, I have an interest in defense because my son works for Lockheed Martin. I don't want to see him lose his job, although he's in a weapons program that'll never get cut, so I'm not worried about it. But look, if they're going after both education and defense, that sounds like a pretty bipartisan, bilateral effort at cost control to me. I mean, in terms of Department of Education, I think it's totally useless. It has nothing to show.
Well, I think
Our
Doge did.
student, no, let me finish.
Okay.
Our students did better before DOED was established. Our students led the world before the Department of Education was established, and now we're down in the 20s and 30s and 40s when we compare to other nations. So, and that's just a fact. These are just facts, right? Department of Defense has a ton of waste. I agree. I mean, there are explanations for $900 toilet seats, which I'm happy to tell you about, but but Department of Defense, but it looks like they're going after both DOE and DOD. And that to me sounds like it's not necessarily a partisan thing. It looks like they're looking for where the waste is, and they're going to try and root it out. Interestingly enough, they've left some other departments, which I might have gone after. I guess will get left till later, but I think by the end of this, every department will have been examined. The irony to all this discussion is this agency that Musk. So, well, let's back up. Musk is a validly appointed special government employee under U.S. law. And I'm familiar with the SGE statute because I have several friends who have been SGEs before. And he is working out of an Obama era created department. You got that one right in the run-up, Bob. That was established specifically to do exactly what Doge is doing. Obama established that department to reduce government waste, government fraud, unnecessary government expenditures. And now, after 12 years, that department's finally doing what it was supposed to do. That agency is doing exactly what it was supposed to do. So I don't have a problem with that. What I had a problem with tonight was the fact that it really devolved, the discussion devolved really quickly into anybody but Musk, or here's why Musk is good for this, or here's why Musk is bad for that. That just distracts from the issue. The issue, which I would think every American would subscribe to, is how can we get rid of government fraud, waste, and grift? And that's what everybody.
Actually, Bill,
that topic didn't get as much discussion tonight as I hoped.
I agree with you. What happened was I made an executive decision that Musk was not a politician. That's why I allowed the name. I never do. I did that only because it seems like to me that on the left, they were basically saying they were making it all about Elon, but yet I think even Ted agrees and Jeff agrees that the task itself needs to be done. The task of reviewing needs to be done. I wanted that to be an agreement in our show, and I know it didn't come out like that, but obviously having the 20-minute delay, not even know if we're going to have a show, Bill, but that was why I made the kind of the funny thing to say that, Musk was neither elected or confirmed. So because everybody I've talked about in this last week or so getting ready for this topic wants to make it about Elon. So I said, fine, let's make it about Elon, but let's see if we can get everybody to agree that this is needed to be done. That's what I was hoping to get out of it.
But Elon was a distraction to that topic.
Well, but that's their talking point, Bill. I have to deal with existing talking points sometimes. The Republicans, the conservatives love to bring up the DEI and the other stuff. And of course, we know the Dems displaced that, and that's fine. What I like is the Dems really do want this dive into government, just not the way they're doing it, Bill. That was all I was trying to maybe agree upon.
I did do a lot of research to find out the list of items that were discovered.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is it's very difficult to get a list when a lot of news organizations are spreading it out line by line, where $1,000 and $2,000. So I went ahead and went with the White House listing of what they put. Whether or not we agree that the White House is telling lies or telling the truth, it was what was published as fact from the White House. And so it's a hard one to just say they're liars and therefore it doesn't matter. It was the list that was provided.
And there's the problem, because the list that you provided was exactly the same list that I've been seeing on Fox Business News for the last week. So,
Yeah.
but then to just dismiss it, oh, that's just White House propaganda, that's not real. That doesn't further the discussion. I mean,
No, I agree.
not a
Ted, would you agree that
that's not a good argument.
Ted, will you want to talk now? I mean, you talk with Bill in a second, but don't you agree that sometimes we're sloughing off the fact that the argument of that the talking points that I know are on both sides.
Again, I think my issue is not that who doesn't want efficiency, but what is efficiency? It's something that's better that costs cheaper. So what is Musk doing but going out and just cutting? Is that going to make the services better? Again, we won't know. We may not know for months or years. I said that again. But back to Bill's point about Fox Business News, of course they're going to say that, because that's what Fox does. It's a cheerleader for Trump. When Fox comes up with something contrary to Trump, I'll start listening to them. In the meantime,
they have. I watch Fox Business News every
Give me an example.
week.
When?
And
Give me an example.
They've questioned his tariff policies and all kinds of stuff. They have not given him I realize it's a left-wing talking point to say that Fox is the mouthpiece for Donald Trump, but I can tell you, I watch Fox Business News every single day, and it's just not true.
And what else do you watch?
Do you watch Fox Business News?
Yes, I watch Fox all the
every
time.
Single day.
Yes.
Every single day.
No, I watch. I turn it on and watch. Yes, of course. I know. But what else do you watch, Bill?
Oh, you want to go that with him? Okay, Ted.
Bill, what else do you watch?
I watch CNBC.
Congratulations.
Now,
So I think a broad sense of outlook is needed on this. Again, Elon Musk wasn't elected. He's brought in. What Elon Musk is a barrier to Trump. If everything Elon Musk does turns to gold, Trump gets to raise his hand and say, see what I did. If everything falls apart, Trump goes, hey, Elon, you fucked up. That's it. It's a complete barrier, safeguard, don't touch me thing. No responsibility whatsoever from the big guy. There you go. Congratulations.
Do you think when Democrats come back in office that they might do some cutting on the other side and say, see, we can do that?
Okay, here's a better question.
Or do you think they're going to re-put back in every expense?
So boy, let's say they break parts of, let's say Defense Department or Department of Education, and then 3 years later they go, you know what, we really need these people. We need this oversight here, we need oversight there, and they have to put it back in. And they have to rebuild it or rehire people or re-educate other things to get at. Is that being efficient, or is that breaking it and realizing, oh, I got to fix this again? I built it for no reason.
I was asking a question. You completely made another question and asked me that. So why don't you ask the original question that I asked?
Can't remember what it was.
Well, that's a problem. That makes it difficult, Ted.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect.
oh.
Sometimes it's more useful to listen to understand what the other person is saying than just listen to respond.
Do you think that the Democrats, when they become in power again, that they might cut things out that Republicans like and say, look at all this fat that Republicans did, and we're going to cut that? And don't you think that's still a good thing if they did it?
I think they tried to do some of that already. I'll tell you a very good example that they tried to do, and that was upgrade the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency with computers. But you know what? The NRA and other pro-gun associations wouldn't let them have computers in their offices until almost like 5 years ago. They wanted records on paper. They wanted slow processing of gun permits on purpose. And I think so. Yes, I think you can always cherry pick examples of somebody picking something apart or trying to add this. It adds cost. No, it's really going to save society versus, oh, it's going to hurt society. You got to cut this. It always goes back and forth.
So do you think it will benefit as a whole if the Democrats actually do cutting when they become in power again?
They've already tried to do stuff. I just gave you an example of I was trying to improve something, but not cutting it. My point is, what happens if they have to go back in and add more stuff back to the Department of Education or add in better oversight for, I don't know, corporate bribing of foreign officials? Is that going to be efficient? Does that mean they're inefficient?
There was no education.
Some of these things are just not in the federal, they're not stipulated to the federal government by the Constitution. I mean, Department of Education is a good example.
Yeah.
Federal government has no business in being, in governing the education of children in the states. It should be a state issue. And the most important people in that equation are the parents and guardians of the kids.
That's absolutely true.
Our
And so
education,
we need to get the federal government out of it and let the people who have a genuine interest in the kids oversee their education. And
What makes you think
our education system wasn't broken when DOE was created.
Shouldn't we have this show be the two Bills with Ted and Jeff?
Well, I know. Bill,
I think the two Bills would have more fun. I mean, I may be comic relief.
well, hold on a second.
Over, but
Bill, it's in Texas. Bill that's in Texas right now. Are you in Texas now?
Yeah, totally.
Okay,
he's
good.
in front of a green screen. Come on.
That's my backyard. That's my backyard.
I know. Well, listen, I do want you to be on the main show sometime. You and Ted would do fine together, and maybe each of y'all would knock each other over the head because as far as everybody is concerned, talking points come out. I hate them. We've all got to work on that, but we're starting to get together. We're starting to listen. And I can't wait till we have a show on the Department of Education. Now, Bill, I don't think you can blame the fact that the DOE is all the reason for the collapse of our schools and why 77% of kids in inner cities aren't at grade level. That one's
well, they're half of it because the other half of that equation is the teachers unions.
Well,
Actually, Bob, what I would say is that DOE has done nothing to stem it or prevent it.
So I would.
So why does it exist? There was no education crisis in this country when DOE was created.
Yeah,
There was absolutely none. We were at the